Now, we've looked at how transport layer uses muxing and demuxing to manage communication between the many processes associated with it, right? Now we're going to example the simplest transport protocol that builds upon those ideas, the UDP. This section focuses on UDP, what it provides, what it intentionally does not provide, and why applications might choose it despite the lack of guarantees associated with it. There's two main protocols that you need to memorize, TCP and UDP, and we're going to dive into UDP today. All right, so what does UDP provide? UDP provides basic process-to-process delivering using ports. It supports a connectionless communication, meaning no setup is required before the data is set. The protocol adds minimal overhead, which allows data to be transported very, very, very quickly. UDP does not guarantee that the data will arrive in order, or arrive only once. It also does not perform congestion control or flow control. These omissions are intentional and reflect a design choice rather than a limitation. Understand that. Some applications prioritize low latency and simplicity over reliability. These applications, the overhead additional transport features is unnecessary and undesirable. UDP allows applications to implement their own handling of loss, timing, and ordering if it's needed. So UDP is commonly used for services like DNS, where quick request response behavior is more important than the guaranteed delivery. It also is used in streaming and real-time communication, where occasional loss is preferable over delay. UDP segments contain only a few fields: the source port, destination port, length, and checksum. That's it. This minimal structure reflects UDP's lightweight design and contributes to its overall overhead. UDP checksum is used to detect errors during transmission. It covers both the header and the data, while the optional IPv4, the checksum is required in IPv6, ensuring basic error detection even if lightweight protocols. At the sender, UDP simply attaches to a header and passes the data to the network layer. At the receiver, the transport layer verifies the checksum and delivers the data to the appropriate application based on that destination port. There's no retransmissions like there is with TCP. UDP offers speed, simplicity, but it's at a cost of reliability and control. This trade-off makes it well suited for certain workloads, but it's inappropriate for others. Understanding when UDP is helpful, explain the behavior. Understanding when UDP is used helps explain the behavior of many of modern applications. All right, all that aside, let's jump into this. Okay, why would I want to use UDP over TCP? You got to remember that UDP is quick, all right? UDP is a very, very efficient. It doesn't have any major issues with it like TCP does. UDP is all about, let me just jam it down your throat as fast as I can get it. And sometimes that speed is paramount to the application's functionality, okay? Now, the trade-off, obviously, is reliability. We're not seeing the reliability. We're not seeing flow control. We're not seeing all those great things associated with it. So why would we use UDP? Well, I've just explained why. All right, here's the memorization that I want you to kind of kick into your mind, the difference between UDP. UDP is unconnected. Connectionless, right? U stands for unconnected, connectionless, okay? It's faster, it's more efficient, but there's nothing reliable about it. And when you think about UDP, I want you to think about attending a protest. I know they're all over the country right now, right? But think about attending a protest. You got people on the blow horns and they're just blowing out their volume across. They don't care who listens. They don't care what's going on. They're just speaking in the blowhorn and just protesting to their large content. That's UDP. That's UDP in a nutshell. They're just talking and talking and talking. And if you get it, great. If you don't, they don't care. That's UDP.